being mayor of New York City encompassed a lot more than just September 11, 2001. For 8 years, I had the safety and security of millions of people on my shoulders that I had to deal with, that I had to make decisions about. It's considered the second toughest job in the United States, and I had it under very difficult circumstances. So the first time being a crisis manager was not September 11, but of course I am the only one here who actually has had to face an Islamic terrorist attack right at the center of it, had to make decisions immediately about how to deal with it, and it gives a pretty good indication that I have the leadership ability to handle whatever terrorists may be throwing at us in the future. And also with regard to foreign policy, I've negotiated with governments when I was in the Justice Department. I negotiated agreements on illegal immigration. I negotiated agreements on the movement of prisoners. I worked on a task force on terrorism back in the Ford administration in the 1970s. Some of my knowledge of terrorism goes back almost to the very beginning of when it started. In the Justice Department, I handled cases involving mostly organized crime and white-collar crime, but also involving terrorism. I was in contact with governments all over the world in that regard. I have also traveled 91 trips in the last 6 years to 35 different countries. And when I had to take a stand for my country, I knew how to take a stand for my country. I kept Arafat out of the UN 50 celebration. I threw him out of the UN 50 celebration. I kept Castro out of that celebration. And when a Saudi prince handed me a $10 million check and wanted me to use it as a criticism of American foreign policy, I handed that check back to him and told him what to do with it, because I understand the critical issues on which you have to stand up for your country. And as the mayor of New York, I have been involved in one way or another in just about every single foreign policy issue, because it just happens to be part of the DNA in New York that you're involved in foreign policy with the UN there.